Well, today's getting an early start, so I don't know. I'm trying to turn some lights on in here because, well, even though the sun is it's coming up, it's really overcast today. So it looks like we're gonna have a rainy one, which is okay because yeah, there's some things that could probably stand a little drink of water, so we're okay. But it messes me up for my lighting. Someday, who knows? Maybe I'll have some professional stuff, or maybe not. Doesn't really phase me one way or the other. You've got what you got when you get me. So I want to tell a story from a lot of years ago. I was asked to speak at this church, and so I went, and I don't remember really what all I spoke on, but the one thing I do remember is, as I often do, I'm always trying to protect the guilty. So I will sometimes in my stories maybe make little changes to not make it too obvious who I'm talking about. Uh, Not use names or change names or whatever, because this isn't about trying to trash on anybody or expose anybody or anything like that. That's not the purpose. But there are things that have happened, experiences I've had, stories that I have, and all that sometimes I need to tell them for my sake, and sometimes I need to tell them for somebody else's sake. It can help another person. Sometimes just knowing somebody got through something that you're going through gives you the hope of that you'll make it. That if they could get through it, I can too. If God took care of them, He'll take care of me. So it can be a thing of encouragement, and there's lots of reasons. There's power. There is power in a story. So Jesus went around telling stories all the time. That's how He taught people, was through parables. And yeah, we love stories, don't we? So today's story is about a woman. I couldn't tell you her name because I don't know her. I don't remember what her, or if I ever even really knew what her name was. But anyway, I go to this church this Sunday morning, and I speak. And like I said, I don't remember. I do have the message somewhere on an old cassette tape. If that thing's not so brittle, maybe and I do still have a cassette tape player. If it works, I probably should have gone and listened to it, but I didn't really want to do that. So I don't remember what name I used, but a lot of times I would be, make up names to share about something, like, Sally Rowley and Joe Cool or whatever, those are typical names that people use. And I don't remember what I used, but let's just call her Sister Front Pew. That one will work. Sister Front Pew. So whatever name I used, what I was trying to talk about was the spirit of Jezebel in the church. Now, a lot of times when people talk about Jezebel, they're always like, oh, this beautiful, seductive woman, and that can be part of it, but that's really not, it's not about that being a Jezebel. Jezebel, because she was a king's wife that we read about in the Bible, she was controlling. She controlled the king, she controlled the people, and she did it through what I call the three arms of witchcraft, which is intimidation, domination, and manipulation. Because witchcraft is about controlling others. That's what it's about. And those three things are the three tactics that most people use to try to control somebody else. You're going to, first you're going to try to manipulate them to get them to do what you want to do. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to be a little intimidating. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to dominate the situation until you got them under control. So I talked about this person, and a lot of times it's a woman. And I suppose if it's a man, there's probably another example in the Bible that we can use to give that spirit, that attitude, a name for a man. But I had talked about several things. It wasn't just about the Jezebel spirit, but it was about several things and how those things work into the church, I believe is what I was talking about, and to mess things up, to get God out. Because the enemy, does not want God anywhere. So anyway, I delivered the message. It was all fine and stuff. And in the church, it really, it was a great day. It really moved the church. There had been a lot of division there, and people were coming together. And another woman, I don't remember who, but another woman had gone with me, so I wouldn't be alone. I don't like to go do things like that and without having somebody there with me that's at least praying for me and supporting me. Because sometimes you're walking into a den of lions, and it's nice to have backup. But anyhow, they had rallied around the pastor, and they kind of had gone into a very personal time after I spoke. And so I told this woman, let's just slip out and go, and leave this church to be, because this now is their private personal time. So it really had made an impact. And so I was grateful to the Lord that he'd been able to use my stumbling words and have some kind of impact in people's life that day, right? And so I think it was like the next Sunday. It was in the summer. It was a hot day. And after church, a bunch of us decided we'd take our kids and go down to the river and play in the water. Well, then you might as well make a day of it. And so some of the guys had gone to get a barbecue, and everybody was given assignments. Okay, we were supposed to go pick up different things and meet at the river. So our worship leader was Tim and his wife Ginger, and they were dear friends. Ginger's still a dear friend. And Ginger she's I think probably about 10 years younger than I am, but she was always very opposite of me. Ginger was a strong, powerful young woman, confident, and still is. And she just, nobody messed with Ginger because she had a way of just, I don't know, commanding respect or something. She just is an awesome, beautiful, strong woman. And when she walks into a room, you feel her presence there. She's in a really amazing way, not a Jezebel way, in a really amazing way. I would love to be more like Ginger. I am more like Ginger now than I used to be. But at that time, as I've said before, in my life, I have been very controlled by fear. Those 3 arms of witchcraft worked very easily on me. And I didn't like to ever rock the boat. I still don't like to rock the boat. I don't like conflict, but I've learned about maybe more appropriately standing up for myself now. But anyway, back then, I was so wimpy. And I think Ginger was often on a mission to get the wimp out of me, and she was always pushing me to do things that were way out of my comfort zone, and maybe should have been on some of them. She is hilarious, a lot of fun. You can't hang out with Ginger and not have a good time. So anyway, she and I were given the assignment to go get a bunch of bagged ice for the ice chests and stuff, and I think we had to get the ice chests, and then we'd meet them at the river. So on our way to the river, we stopped at this little store, and we're picking up the ice. And some woman that I had no idea who she was. I don't know if I'd ever met her before, but she comes up to me and she's like, "So aren't you so-and-so?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she goes, "Well, I'm Sister Front Pew." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, You spoke at our church?" And I'm like going, "Oh, such and such a church." "Yes." And she goes, "Well, I'm Sister Front Pew." She goes, "I wasn't there that day, but they taped the message and everybody told me I needed to listen to it. And once I started listening, I understood, because there you were telling all my business. And so I'm Sister Front Pew." And I started to do the wimp out, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean you. I don't even know you," and be all apologetic. But But I believe the Spirit of God began to rise up in me. And I took a different stand, and I was like, well, I don't know you, so I couldn't have been talking about you. But if you are seeing you in that, then maybe that's something that you need to go to God and talk about. Maybe there's something He's wanting to do in your life. And I don't know. It was like the most perfect words came out of my mouth. And this woman was just like thrown back, like she didn't know what to do with that. And then I, told her to have a great day and went up to pay for the ice and go get out in the car with Ginger. We walked out to the car and Ginger's not saying a word, and I'm just like shaking slide like a leaf because I don't like conflict. And we get in the car and Ginger's like, I'm so proud of you. Like she suddenly was like my mom, just so proud of me. My little girl's growing up. You stood up. You said the most perfect things, because if you'd back down, obviously God's trying, putting some conviction on this woman. She can see, that she's not what she should be. And I thought, you're just going to, make her feel all better and that it's okay. And, and that's not you, but it must be her if she sees it. So anyway, it turned out to be a great day. And I calmed down, but, and I felt like I had grown up a little bit that day. So the thing is with this is sometimes we hear about something, we'll hear something described and we relate to it, or we think somebody's telling a story about us. I can't even tell you how many times, back when I was in the ministry, whoever was preaching, people go, you were just telling all my stuff up there. I was thinking, how does he know that about me? Well, here's the thing, people. If you recognize yourself in something, there's a reason why. And if it's something good, then praise God. But when it's that something not so good, rather than getting upset with the person who was just sharing what they were sharing, not necessarily talking about you. Now, if somebody's talking about you, that's a whole nother thing. That's witchcraft. But if it was just them talking about something, sharing something, and you see yourself in it and it's not so good, rather than getting upset with them, isn't it better to just stop? And now my feeling as a follower of Christ is I'm going to go to God and say, hey, I see this not very good thing in me, and I need you to work in me to get that thing under control. That's how we become better people. Is first we got to admit that, yeah, there is a problem. Yes, there is room for improvement before we can ever begin to make that improvement. So, that's what I want us to think about today. And, I could have been all upset, with Ginger that she thought I was so wimpy, but I can't be upset with her for thinking I was wimpy. I was very wimpy. I still can be. And when I see that happening now, and a lot of that I do owe to Ginger. God really used her in my life many years ago to help me realize I needed to be stronger. And a lot of the things that, and I don't know if I've ever told you that, Ginger, but that's the thing, you kept after me in a loving way when I'd wimp out. And you stood as such a pillar of an example of what a godly woman should be, and the right kind of strength that we should have. Now, sometimes, girl, sometimes it was a little out of whack, but for the most part, you stood as such a great example for me that has really ministered to me over the years, that I can be better. So I can be better. We can all be better, right? All right. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe if you enjoy these. If this isn't your thing, that's okay. There's a million other things to watch. But if you enjoy this, I would love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And every single day when I put a new one up, it'll let you know. And let's see. Hit that like button, because that helps encourage me. and leave me comments. I read all the comments. I enjoy them. Oh yes, and let's see, where's my card today? Because I don't know who you are, Sharon, but you left me a great comment the other day, and it blessed me and encouraged me, and I just want to say hi to you and thank you for watching. And I want to thank Chuck for watching, and I hope you're having a great day today, Chuck. So I just want to ever so often say hi to you guys, because I feel like, I've got all these invisible friends out there that aren't really invisible, but to me you are. But I so enjoy each day getting to sit down and chat with you. So I love you guys. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.